I'm Lila Hart, 32, and I never imagined Christmas night would taste like salt and iron, tears on a bitten tongue, while my brother told me I had a week to get out. Gavin lounged at our parents' table. He speared cranberry sauce, smirked, and said, "Pack up, Lila." Something inside me stopped being polite. I reached for my purse. The manila envelope slid into my palm, familiar as a heartbeat. When I set it beside the gravy boat, the clink cut the room in half. No one spoke. Mom's fork hovered midair. I didn't open the flap. Not yet. Before this room there was another, a drafty workshop behind our farmhouse in rural Pennsylvania, where Granddad Walt taught me how wood keeps secrets if you listen. "Grain remembers," he'd say, guiding my small hands over rough-cut pine. While other grandkids rolled their eyes, I leaned in, hungry for stories of how he and Grandma bought the land in the 50s and raised walls nail by nail. I learned the heft of care there, and the smell of cut cedar became my religion. Gavin was 3 years older, with touchdowns. Mom, Elaine, was his halo. Dad, Robert, his drumline. I was the quiet one with sketchbooks, drawing porches no one asked for, reading about restoration. "Sports open doors," Dad used to say. "Books keep you in the foyer." I learned to smile. When Granddad's health crumpled during my sophomore year, I stayed close, studying architecture and driving him to appointments. He had talks with his lawyer, Harold Pierce. I sanded furniture and memorized his last lesson. Houses are stories, not commodities. The envelope under my hand remembered too. Dinner played like theater. Candles, Gavin narrating victories. He tapped his glass. "Good news," he said. "A developer wants the property. I've been helping. Offer's hot. We sell fast." My chest went cold. "We?" "The taxes, the leaks, money pit," he said. "Lila, you'll need to move out in a week for inspection." The envelope burned in my purse. "What gives you the right to evict me?" "Because they own it." Mom studied her potatoes. Dad drank water like it was work. I slid the papers across. "Read!" His smirk dissolved. Mom's napkin shook. Dad's knuckles went white. The deed had Harold Pierce's seal. The letter dated 7 years back. Granddad transferred the house to me, letting my parents remain, at my discretion. "This is fake," Gavin whispered. "It isn't," I said. "And the time to contest passed years ago." I called Harold and set the phone on speaker. His steady voice walked through the transfer, deadlines, and penalties for interference. When he finished, the room sounded like snowfall. Gavin shoved his chair. The legs barked the floor. "We're leaving," he told Cynthia, herding the kids. The front door rattled on its hinges. Silence settled. I faced my parents. "We need to talk." In the kitchen, coffee steamed between us. Mom's voice cracked. "We knew," she said. "After the funeral, bills kept rising. Gavin had expectations. And you chose secrecy," I answered, "while I paid taxes and repairs." Dad winced. "We thought it was simpler. It ends tonight." I opened a folder of receipts. "If you want to stay, we put things in writing. Expenses, decisions, boundaries." Mom nodded, eyes wet. Dad stared at the wall, pride warring with new rules. Morning came brittle and blue. I walked the rooms, fingers along the banister Granddad and I had sanded smooth. A text from Gavin, "This isn't over." I forwarded it to Harold and made coffee. Mom and Dad arrived near noon. I'd laid the rental agreement on the table beside receipts and a clean, unforgiving pen. Mom went first. "We were wrong," she said. "Pride and panic made us small." She signed. The pen whispered. Dad stood a long time, jaw working, then looked at the window where snow feathered the sill. "Your grandfather trusted you," he said, and scrawled his name. The house seemed to exhale. With the terms clear, shared utilities, scheduled repairs, decisions by the owner, they packed for a few nights at a motel to lower the temperature. The quiet afterward wasn't empty, it was space. I called contractors about the roof, then swept sawdust from Granddad's bench and set a stubborn chair in the vise. When the grain lifted, I remembered his hands guiding mine. "Stories, not commodities," I murmured, and the chair gave a little. Weeks lengthened into steadier days. Dad stopped bristling when I measured windows. Mom brought pie as an offering, not a bargain. Harold closed out the developer nonsense. Gavin's calls dwindled. Then one afternoon he appeared alone, shoulders less square. "I made a mess," he said. "Debt, deals, pride." He stared at the floorboards. "If you don't hate me, could I help in the shop? Learn?" Granddad would have laughed and handed him a chisel. I did too, carefully. "Start with sanding," I said. "On Easter we set the good dishes." I raised a glass. "To Walt Hart, who built more than a house." The toast rang true, and for the first time, home answered back for us.